our fairways are pretty wide. Our height of cut is right around 400, and that's consistent from April 1st to our last mowing, usually in mid-November. We have 35 acres of bentgrass fairways, 8 acres of other bentgrass tees, or 6. Greens are about 2.2. Due to the age of our facility, a lot of different varieties of turf are transforming into the fairways. We've had a little POA, some bluegrass encroachments and spots, mainly high traffic spots. So each year it seems like our disease pressure is about the same, but the activity of the disease and the fungi seems to be more extreme because of the different varieties of turf that we're seeing in the fairways. I was a generic applicator due to the size of acres that we had, right? We all had to watch our dollars in terms of fuel, labor, and product applied. With the new chemistries that we're seeing, there's truly, in my opinion, no reason not to go with agencies. We started in 2015. We completed 8 applications on our fairways. Fiscal year 2020, we're down to 4. And that's just really to speak volumes of the chemistry that we have seen throughout the industry on all products, whether it's a fairway application, a broadleaf control application, or anything. But mainly, if you look at the longevity, the performance of Maxtima and Exemplar, even Exemplar being a lot older chemistry than the Maxtima, you just can't go wrong. We've seen a increase of days. So for instance, with a generic, people might be able to get 21 days, but let's be honest, there's active fungi being present in the plant. What we have seen with Maxtima is a good 30 to 34 day rotation. Again, depending on weather, but that's been pretty much our average now. So we're going down to 1 spray a month pretty much. And doing the acres that we have to complete with the in-between play and the amount of time, it's just a savior overall throughout the entire operation of our department. When I started looking at Maxtima being a cool season DMI, the first sticker shock, right, is DMI. What is the burn potential, etc. So I started calling, again, a lot of industry friends of mine, going back and forth. How can we better Eagle Brook? How can we produce the same conditions, go at a longer rate in terms of application timing, lower cost, more efficient to the environment? And when the literature came out, it was a perfect fit. So the disease that we see, anthracnose, summer patch, dollar spot, of course, is a curative and preventative measures on their labels. So the chemists are truly looking out for the best of the course, the best of the environment, and what is the best cost.
So Maxtima, the standalone product, is a DMI fungicide, but it seems to be in this, what I call like a newer wave of DMIs that in particular don't have the growth regulation associated with it like previous DMIs have had. It also seems to have different binding into the target site. So, some of the things that we've seen is maybe a little bit faster control, a little bit better control than even other DMIs. And Navicon basically includes the DMI mixed with pyraclostrobin, a very strong QOI material as well.
Yeah, and I'll just piggyback on that. With the novel active ingredient Revasol, I think it's kind of giving turfgrass managers the flexibility to use a DMI in ways that no other DMI can be used. So it's really seen kind of unprecedented turf safety with this technology, and also excellent control of over 20 of our turfgrass diseases. So it's definitely been a great contribution to the market. Yeah, so that AI and methyltrifluconazole, like Jim said, it's got really, really good binding, really fast plant uptake, good longevity as well. And when you combine it with something like the QI pyraclostrobin, which is leading into our intrinsic line of products, you also get a great plant health component as well. And a lot of these studies are done kind of at the molecular level and have a lot of great science to back them up. So I think it's a great new active ingredient that brings a kind of a new wave of DMI to the market.
BASF shows us a lot of those studies. We don't necessarily do that, but I think the proof is in the pudding. With almost every disease that we've tested it on, it has been outstanding. It's a very exciting material, dating back, 5 years ago, I think was the first time I looked at it. And a number of us in the turf pathology group were texting one another of, what is this material? What is this material? I think it was 750 or 751 back then, because we hadn't really seen activity like this. And activity that was even different from other DMIs. I'll just start by how we typically test all new materials. We always start with dollar spot, brown patch, and anthracnose on cool season grass, and that's how I first worked with the Maxtima and Navicon, and it is by far one of the best dollar spot materials that I've tested, and I think others, Rick Lattin, Bruce Clark, have also seen very similar results on dollar spot. Interestingly enough, the DMI itself is not that strong on brown patch, which is kind of an oddity, but we have so many other things for that particular disease. And then we had some anthracnose trials. Anthracnose isn't a major issue. I mean, it is for us in North Carolina, but Bruce Clark's work, it is flawless. Even at mid rates, the 0.6 rate, which they didn't anticipate, I think, for Maxtima, was very good anthracnose control. It's been great on summer patch, fairy ring, Cameron's favorite disease, take all root rot of Bermuda grass. So, I know I'm leaving some out here, but it is a really, really nice fungicide. And then you tack on the pyraclostrobin and you get, many others as well. And in my opinion, it even strengthens the DMI. I think Cameron will agree, we saw better control with Navicon than Maxtima by itself. With take all root rot and summer patch, and adding the insignia also gives you brown patch control. So I guess it's a product that's very unique, and it doesn't seem to have a weakness.
Yeah, I would second that. I think he covered that really well. Yeah, dollar spot for sure, both curatively and preventively. Anthracnose summer patch, obviously near and dear to my heart, take all root rot. Seen it do well on leaf spot and spring dead spot as well. So I think, yeah, both Maxtima with the solo the Revysol and also the combination with pyraclostrobin and Avicon definitely gives you a whole suite of diseases that occur in fairways and on putting greens as well. So very, very diverse set of diseases you're controlling.
I'll just add one thing to that. As they had Lexicon, which was a fantastic fungicide, one of the weaknesses was anthracnose. And now the BASF portfolio has that. And especially in the amount of stress that we are dealing with, both bent and Bermuda grass and POA greens, that gives a lot of peace of mind through the season to be able to start with something like a Navicon, 28, 21 days later, come in with a Lexicon, and it's a wonderful rotation piece. And I mean, the disease control, there's really nothing to escape that. I think two of the trials that stand out to me was when we first started working with Maxtima and Navicon and spring dead spot and take all root rot. And you could see these plots, literally pulling up to them. I know Cameron remembers this. You could always pick them out because of the amount of control that these materials provided. The second one, I don't know why this study always stuck with me, but we did an overseed study with these materials to look at turf tolerance. And we applied both of these with growth regulators and twice the label rate. And the overseed and the Bermuda grass were flawless. Compare that to, we looked at propiconazole in that mix, and there was some definite hindrance of not only the overseed, but the Bermuda grass. And again, I don't know why that trial's always stood out to me, but that was like the epitome of safety in my mind, because we saw it on two species at once.
Yeah, both on two species and really young plants coming up. So I definitely remember that trial. Another trial I think that stands out to me was, I think we tested this product up to 4x gem in the middle of the summer, and the safety we saw. You don't see that with DMIs. So that's one that stands out to me, is looking at a 4x rate of a DMI on a cool season putting green in North Carolina in the middle of the summer, and no phyto, no damage there is certainly impressive.
But Maxtima, what they've introduced to us, is very, very cost effective. And getting back to that point, I can foresee it as a wonderful dollar spot rotational partner for cool season fairways. And as we mentioned, some of the SDHIs that are used, others, Exemplar, Posterity, from competitors, they don't quite have anthracnose activity like Maxtima would. So automatically, if you look at, you could start the season with a Maxtima, rotate to an Exemplar, go to a Contact, and then back to a Maxtima like in July. That would be an outstanding fairway approach, and you have great rotation of the actives.
Yeah, when I think about fairway use, obviously the range of diseases that these products control is excellent. And another thing I think about with fairway use is that labor involved. So I think when you're thinking about that, the longevity of the products you're putting out is going to be really important. So when applied preventively, we've seen Maxima and Navicon, 21 to 28 days of control, and with intervals like that, you're going to be saving time and resources, and also getting, excellent performance there. So, I think these products, both can play a major role in fairways.
we pride ourselves on the amount of disease pressure that we get, and we have very few products that last 21 days. And that's where I think Maxtima is a standout for me. We've tested it in the mountains in North Carolina, which is a very hard environment for longevity because they get 60 to 70 inches of rainfall, and we were getting 21 days of control. Cameron remembers at Hound Ears. What's really interesting there too, is he mentioned the time savings. As we did studies, Maxtima still performed excellent. I wouldn't recommend it, but down to a half a gallon per 1,000 square feet of spray volume. But a gallon, it was flawless. So a lot of flexibility, I think, that the molecule provides, because it's, as he mentioned, it's very efficacious. It gives them flexibility to do what they want to do at their facility. As Cameron mentioned, if they do it preventatively or use the forecasting model, they can assume as much risk as they'd like. And this product, in conjunction in a program, I think will allow them to stretch intervals if they so desire, which could save a lot of time, money, labor, especially with the ongoing pandemic. It was probably very important for them. Outside of that, I think more than labor and time is it gives them peace of mind that they're going to work. And to me, that's more important to a golf course superintendent, in my experience, than even saving time and labor, is they want to know, I've spent the money on this, is it going to perform? And I think every person that's worked with it has seen that, and the growers have, come to me and said how well these materials have performed.
Yeah, I would definitely agree, and I've been hearing a lot too, like about a lot more concern, I think, about use rates as well. So Maxtima has a rate 0.2 to 0.8 fluid ounces, and Maxtima or a Navicon 0.7 to 0.85 on the label there. So, very low use rates. And, when you're combining low use rates with, the longer intervals, the longevity of disease control, you're definitely going out with the sprayer less, and that's obviously going to save time and labor, like Jim was saying.
My name's Dan Livingston. I'm the superintendent at the Architects Golf Club. It's a very unique golf course. It was designed by Stephen Kay and Ron Witten. Each hole is a different architect, starting with the oldest in age. This year was a big challenge to us with the coronavirus. April, when we got put in a lot of the restrictions, we had to lighten up our crew. It's very important for us in March and April to get our aerification done, all of our pre-emergence down. So obviously we ran into issues with that. When they did lift all the restrictions, we normally put out about 28 to 33,000 rounds a year. We were extremely busy. So when that happened, we were only allowed one person per cart so that they weren't getting too close to each other. And when you do that, it doubles your cart traffic. So traffic on the golf course and all the carts that were going out, it was like putting out 70,000 rounds this year. So we had a lot of issues with not getting pre-emergence out to traffic. I didn't get my proper fertilizers out this year because of the restrictions that we were under. So unfortunately, I had a lot of dollar spot because of that. And thank God for Exemplar. That's all I could say. With the price of it and the low rates, it really helped me this year. So Exemplar is a fungicide that's pretty new to the industry. It's low rates. I sprayed at 11.4 ounces per acre, and I've had tremendous results with it. It knocks everything out quickly for what I was looking for. And you're getting the 21 to 28 days out of it, and the price of it, because of the low rates and with the early order programs that BASF did, it really helped me out this year. And I'm not swaying away from it. I'm staying with it. So I've always been big on BASF. Emerald is always my bookends. And when I say bookends, it's my first spray of the year on my greens, tees, and fairways, and it's my last spray of the year. It does a great job at the end of the year knocking any disease that's left that's going to survive through the winter. And then when we're coming in the spring and the temperature soils get to where we need them to be, that's always my first spray to knock out anything that did survive. It basically just starts your year off with the bookends, and I've been doing that for probably 15 years now. And I swear by that spray. I mean, I know a lot of guys do it with different chemicals and stuff, but I've always been a huge fan of Emerald. And BASF is just taking it to the next level with their early order program. I use a lot of lexicon on my greens. And it's not easy for me because I have 4 acres of greens, 4 acres of tees, and almost 40 acres of fairways that are all bent grass. So my costs are up a little bit because of the design of our facility. But with their early order programs, it's a real big help to me.